The sun was sinking behind the Montana hills when rancher Cole Maddox first saw her, collapsed in the middle of the prairie, dressed in the black and white habit of a nun, her bare feet dusty, her breaths shallow and irregular. At first he thought it was some trick of the light, maybe a lost traveler or someone who fainted from the heat, but when he rode closer and saw the faint tremble of her fingers, something inside him tightened. He leaped off his horse and knelt beside her. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" he asked gently, brushing straw from her cheek. Her eyelids fluttered open just enough for him to see the panic beneath them. "No, don't," she whispered before her head rolled to the side. Cole had seen fear before, fear of the land, fear of storms, fear of losing cattle, but never fear like this. This was the fear of a hunted soul. He lifted her carefully, noting how weak she felt, how cold her hands were despite the blazing sun. She clung to his shirt for one moment, her voice barely a breath. "Please don't take me back." Cole's heart kicked in his chest, because nowhere in this wide land should a nun be afraid to return. "Back where?" he asked, steady but firm. Her lips trembled, but no sound came out, her eyes filled, then closed again as her strength slipped away. Cole lifted her into his arms, heading toward his horse, just as distant hoofbeats rumbled across the plains. He froze. Riders. 3, maybe 4. Fast. Armed. They were heading toward him. A cold realization struck him, whoever she was running from, they were close. He adjusted his hat, positioning his body to shield her from view, and waited. Dust rose in the distance, silhouettes becoming clearer. 4 men on horseback, wearing the long coats of authority, but the faces of men who didn't deserve it. One of them halted his horse right in front of Cole. "Evening, Maddox," he said, too casually. "You seen anyone pass through here?" "We're looking for a runaway." Cole forced his breath to stay calm. "Runaway," he repeated. "Like a prisoner?" The man snorted. "Something like that. Church business. A nun went missing from St. Bridget's mission." Cole felt the woman stir faintly in his arms behind the horse's shadow. He kept his grip steady. "A nun," he said slowly. "What would a nun be running from?" The rider's expression shifted, the kind of expression that admitted more truth than he intended. "She knows things she shouldn't. Dangerous things." Another rider leaned forward. "If you find her, Maddox, you bring her straight to us. It's important." Cole nodded once, but his hand tightened on the reins. "Sure," he said. "If I see her." The riders thundered away, heading toward the northern ridge. As soon as they were far enough, Cole exhaled sharply. "Hell," he muttered. He looked down at the young woman unconscious in his arms again. She couldn't be more than mid-20s. Her habit was torn at the side, dust clinging to the white collar, knees scraped like she'd fallen more than once. Whatever forbidden thing she knew, it had powerful men chasing her. Cole swung onto his horse with her pressed against him and spurred the animal toward the safety of his ranch. Evening crept over the land before they arrived. He carried her into the small guest room beside the kitchen, lit the lamp, and set her gently on the bed. She stirred again, this time with a faint groan, touching her forehead. "Where am I?" "Safe," Cole said simply. "My ranch." Her eyes widened as if she feared that word. "I shouldn't be here." "You don't understand." "Then help me," Cole said. "Tell me who you're running from." She looked toward the window, the last light of dusk glowing like embers. I can't. It's forbidden. Forbidden by who? The church, she whispered. But not God. Her voice broke. Cole leaned back, crossing his arms, processing the strangeness of it all. You said not to take you back. Why? She pressed a shaky hand to her chest. Because if they take me, the truth will disappear. And so will I. Cold silence filled the room. What truth? Cole asked quietly. She swallowed hard, then met his eyes. A murder, she whispered. I witnessed a murder. His jaw clenched. Whose? Father Malik. Cole stiffened. Malik was known across the county, a respected priest, counselor, man of peace. You are saying somebody killed him. Not somebody, she said. Someone from inside the mission. Someone powerful. Someone the town trusts. She shivered violently. I saw it. They saw me. And they said if I spoke, no one would believe me. That I'd be handled. Cole stood and paced once across the wooden floor, trying to make sense of this tangled mess. Why didn't you go to the sheriff? He asked. Her gaze darkened. The sheriff is one of them. Cole froze. The weight of her words hit the room like a storm. You're telling me the sheriff is helping cover up a murder? She nodded. I heard him. I heard him say no witness survives. Not this time. Cole's fists tightened until his knuckles turned pale. He'd known Sheriff Doran for years, but he also knew the man had secrets that clung to him like shadows. Still, this was deeper, darker. Why come this way? He asked. Why run through open land? Because it was either that or let them bury me in the ground behind the mission, she whispered. Then she suddenly grabbed his wrist, gripping tight with surprising strength. Promise me, she said desperately. Promise me you won't let them take me. I ain't handing you to anyone, Cole said without hesitation. She closed her eyes in relief, tears slipping down her temple. Thank you. I have nothing to give you but the truth. Cole gently freed his wrist. Rest? You are safe for now. Tomorrow we figure this out. But even as he said it, he knew safety was temporary. The riders would return. The sheriff would come asking. And the town, his town, might already be wrapped in corruption far worse than he'd ever imagined. As Cole stepped out of the room, he heard her whisper something so soft he almost thought he misheard. That is forbidden, she murmured to herself. But the rancher understood. Cole closed the door slowly, a chill running down his spine. Whatever she meant, whatever truth she carried, it was about to shake the whole town to its core. The night settled over the Maddox ranch with a heavy silence, broken only by the distant howl of coyotes and the faint creaking of the old barn in the wind. Cole couldn't sleep. His eyes kept drifting to the guest room door, behind which the young nun, Sister Elena, rested uneasily. Her words replayed in his mind like a dark echo, a murder, someone powerful, the sheriff is one of them. If even half of what she said was true, then every soul in town was living in the shadow of a lie. Cole finally stepped outside, letting the cold air steady his thoughts. His horse, Ember, pawed at the dirt, restless. Animals always sensed danger before humans did. Cole watched the dark horizon for several minutes before he heard it, the soft crunch of footsteps behind him. He turned sharply, hand on the revolver at his hip, but relaxed a moment later. Elena stood there, holding a blanket around her shoulders, her face pale in the moonlight. you should be resting, Cole said. She shook her head. I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see his face. Cole sighed and walked her toward the porch steps. Tell me everything, he said quietly. She hesitated, then began, her voice trembling but determined. Father Malric, he wasn't just a priest. He kept records. Proof of the sheriff's dealings with outlaws, proof of stolen church funds, proof of a woman who went missing 3 years ago and was never reported. He threatened to expose them. He wanted to go to the bishop. She swallowed hard. So Sheriff Doran and 2 men from the mission confronted him. They beat him, killed him, and they buried him under the old chapel floor. Cole stared at her, shock tunneling through him. You saw all that? I was in the alcove, cleaning candle trays. I heard the fight. I saw the blow that killed him. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't look away. They knew I saw. They chased me. I ran before they could silence me. Cole clenched his jaw. Years of respect for the church. Years of trust in the sheriff. All of it stained now. Why not tell the bishop? He asked. Elena let out a broken laugh. Because the sheriff controls every road out of this town. And the bishop, he listens to the sheriff more than he listens to God. Cole exhaled slowly, then stood. We are ending this, he said. She stared at him in disbelief. How? By doing what the sheriff never thinks I'll do, ride straight into town before dawn. Before she could protest, hoofbeats echoed in the night, fast, closing in. Cole didn't hesitate. He grabbed Elena's hand and pulled her inside the house. Get in the cellar and stay low, he whispered urgently. Don't make a sound. She obeyed without question. Cole covered the cellar door with a rug just as shadows appeared outside the windows. Lantern light flickered. Voices murmured. Sheriff Doran's deep voice followed. Mad dogs. Open up. Cole stepped calmly to the front door, unlocking it but not opening fully. Evening, Sheriff, he said. What's the matter? Sheriff Doran pushed the door wider with the easy arrogance of a man who had never heard the word no. We're searching properties. That runaway nun was spotted heading this direction. Cole shrugged. Didn't see her. One of the deputies stepped forward. Mind if we take a look around? Cole paused, hand resting casually yet firmly on the gun at his hip. I mind a lot, he said. Unless you got a warrant. The sheriff's expression darkened. Since when do you care about warrants, Cole? Since men like you started abusing the law. Silence. Tense, deadly. Then the sheriff forced a smile. If you see her, you know what to do. Sure, Cole said, meeting his eyes. I'll do the right thing. The men eventually rode off, their silhouettes disappearing into the darkness. Cole waited until every hoofbeat faded before pulling the cellar door open. Elena crawled out, shaking. That was him, she whispered. The man who killed Father Malric. Cole put a steady hand on her shoulder. We move now. Within minutes, Cole saddled 2 horses. Elena climbed onto Ember with his help, gripping the reins tightly. Cole mounted his own horse. Stay close, he instructed. If anyone tries to stop us, you keep riding. Don't look back. She nodded, her fear melting into determination. Before the first hints of dawn touched the sky, they were already halfway to town. But fate had its own plans. As they approached the old mission chapel, The very place where Malric's body was hidden, torches lit up in the darkness. Men emerged, blocking the path, guns drawn. Sheriff Doran rode to the front, eyes narrowing. "You should have stayed out of this, Maddox," he growled. "Hand her over." Cole positioned his horse between the sheriff and Elena. "She's telling the truth, Doran." "Truth?" The sheriff spat. "She's a frightened girl with wild stories." "Then let's settle it," Cole said, pointing to the chapel. "Let's dig right now. If I'm wrong, you can lock me up." "But if she's right," the sheriff's jaw twitched. His men shifted nervously. Fear flickered in his eyes, the fear of a man whose crimes were about to surface. "You're not digging anywhere," Doran snapped. He raised his gun. But he wasn't fast enough. Cole fired first, not to kill, but to disarm, his bullet knocking the sheriff's revolver clean from his hand. Chaos erupted. Elena screamed. Men ducked. Horses reared. But Cole fought like the land itself depended on it, knocking down 2 deputies before anyone could aim properly. Then something happened that none of them expected. Townsfolk, awakened by the gunfire and drawn by the rising light, gathered around the mission. Farmers, ranchers, shopkeepers, the whole town. And among them, an old carpenter stepped forward. "If the girl says there's a body under that floor," he said loudly, "then we will see." Before the sheriff could stop him, half a dozen men stormed into the chapel. Minutes later, the truth rose to the surface: bones, clothing, and Father Malric's rosary. Gasps filled the air. The crowd turned on the sheriff. His power ended in a single breath. By sunrise, he and his accomplices were bound and awaiting justice. Elena stood trembling beside Cole, tears streaming down her face, not of fear now, but of relief so powerful it nearly buckled her knees. Cole touched her shoulder gently. "It's over," he said. She shook her head softly. "No, you don't understand. You saved me. You saved the truth. You saved the whole town." The townspeople surrounded Cole, shaking his hand, thanking him, praising Elena for her courage. For the first time, she felt safe. For the first time, the sun felt warm. As Cole helped her onto the church steps, she whispered, "That is forbidden," they said. Telling the truth was forbidden. "But you understood." Cole smiled faintly. "Some things are worth breaking the rules for." And as the camera of the story's world imagined pulling back, showing the church, the sunrise, the town awakened to justice, the narrator's voice spoke gently and powerfully, "If you want more stories filled with courage, truth, and unforgettable characters, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe."